Yep, I went to 50 GameStops in 50 states in America. Why? For absolutely no reason. Oh, and also this video is brought to you by Squarespace, but more on that later. My friends Carl and John will be joining as well, but Nathaniel and Andy will not. The man can barely take care of himself and his boulders. Can you imagine him on an airplane? But anyway, it's time to go to 50 GameStops in 50 states. To start, we're traveling to the most difficult places, which are Alaska and Hawaii. We started heading to the airport and something horrible happened. I forgot my Nintendo Switch case. I know, truly a travesty, but lucky for me, we're on our way to a GameStop so I can get a new one. In Alaska. Also, one of the TSA security guards actually recognized me. Now, I've been recognized plenty of times at gaming conventions and stuff, but someone that works at TSA totally threw me off guard. So the original plan was to get to Alaska late at night on this first day. Unfortunately, we had a layover in Seattle, and then we were stuck there for the night because the Alaska flight got delayed for 12 hours. And also, Carl was starting to get sick, which, you know, flying when you're sick is a really bad combination. So, not the greatest start, but maybe things will get better from here? We all woke up and got very little sleep because of the flight change. And also, we have to do 3 flights in one waking day, so that'll be fun. 4 hours to Alaska, 4 hours back to Seattle, and 6 hours to Hawaii. We got to the airport and started our flight to Alaska. I've never been to this state, so I was looking out the window and wow. Alaska sure is beautiful. Just look at those massive snowy mountains. I totally get why people want to live here now, although it's a bit far from civilization for me personally. So after landing, Carl and I made our way to the first GameStop, while John stayed behind with our bags so we wouldn't have to go through security again with all our luggage. This first one was in a mall, and after looking around for a few minutes, there it was. Filled with billions of games, toys, Funko Pops. Oh, I was so excited to go in, and yeah, I didn't actually film inside because the guy working there was kind of staring me down and I didn't want to bother him. But Carl filmed the first purchase secretly. Dude, this mall has an ice rink in it. It's so cool. But after that, we took our first selfie because we're doing that at every GameStop just because. And finally, my Nintendo Switch was protected inside a case. I also bought this digital code that I'll be giving away on Twitter, but more on that at the end. However, there was an actual big problem. Carl's ear was aching really bad. In fact, it hurt so much that he didn't feel like he could fly again. So he went to urgent care, and it turns out that he has a minor tear in his eardrum. This is really bad because if he flies again, his eardrum could rupture and cause permanent damage. Specifically, the tympanic membrane is what tore, and you need that to hear because that's what allows you to receive vibrations from sound, which is transferred into your middle ear and inner ear. So, now what? Do we cancel the whole trip? Maybe delay our flights? What on earth are we supposed to do? Ultimately, we decided we would move Carl's ticket around so he could fly back home when he's feeling better, and John and I continued on to Hawaii. For us to get there, we had to leave Alaska at 1 a.m., land in Seattle again for another layover, and then fly to Hawaii. At this point, John and I had been awake for around 25 hours, and this is me on one of the flights in the bathroom completely dead inside. As you can imagine, I was very exhausted, and I felt like I was abandoning one of my best friends in a state far, far away from home. So after all this flying and being awake for so long, we made it to Hawaii and got to our hotel. And my gosh, this place is beautiful too. But I was exhausted and the time zone change was 6 hours at this point, so I was completely conked out. Meanwhile, Carl got himself a hotel and just made the best of the scenario. At the very least, he got a pretty sweet room with a big tub.
This big tub. And I mean, it is big tub.
And you can open these doors in the big tub and watch TV from it, which would have been cool if the TV worked. But yeah, at this point, we all decided that we're gonna go back to Hawaii next year because it's really unfair that Carl couldn't make it. After about 11 hours of sleep, I was feeling extremely refreshed. I got my cheesy-ass Hawaiian Mario shirt on and was ready to rock. It was just that time to walk on some rocks on the beach, say hello to these cool-looking crabs, and of course, hit up the next GameStop. This one was also in a mall, and John and I got a little distracted because Macy's has Toys R Us. Yeah, I totally forgot Macy's bought them, so we took a little excursion to check it out. And, well...
Mario? You have Mario here?
Jeffrey the Giraffe was hanging out on the bench, looking like he's living on, I don't know, life support. Why would anyone purchase Toys R Us? This doesn't feel like a Toys R Us at all. It's just like a normal toy section in a Target. So I guess that was moderately interesting, but anyway, our quest continues. Wow, there it is, another GameStop. Getting more comfortable filming in public, I got some good shots of the store, and it looks about the same as the one in Alaska. This time I got a digital code for Kirby's Dream Buffet because this is actually a really fun game. And John got some Pokemon cards, so that was pretty cool. And after that, well, not much really happened involving GameStop. Yeah, so since we're actually in Hawaii, we decided to stay here for a few days. While it was really fun and we did a lot of cool stuff, it just didn't feel right that Carl was trapped in frickin' Alaska. He did get better and eventually flew back home, so at least he's okay. We also flew back home on April 5th, which just so happens to be the worst day to do that because the Mario movie came out that day. And I planned this trip around so that I could watch the movie on April 7th, its original date. So thanks Nintendo for doing that. But anyway, we all got back home safe and sound, but let's be honest, our journey hasn't even begun yet. Okay, so we have done 2 out of 50 states. Now, for us to do this, I've rented a minivan for me and Carl so we'd have a little more space, and I planned out a route to get through all 48 states in about 3 weeks. I know that sounds insane, but don't worry, I reached that point a long time ago, so this is just an average Tuesday for me. With Carl all healed up, we were ready to go. The next big decision to make was what our car name was gonna be, like you do with any epic adventure. We were trying to pick between Sus Bus and Swaggin' Wagon, and we decided to go with Sus Bus because it's slightly less cringe. Within 20 minutes though, we heard a loud noise in the back, and god damn it, our epic fridge setup got completely destroyed. The door was too heavy, and when we took a turn, all the contents spilled out, including my cantaloupe! Oh, I love cantaloupe. I'm really sad about that. But after that debacle and rotating our fridge so the door wouldn't open, we headed to our first state, West Virginia. We got there a bit early, so we enjoyed some Capri Sun while waiting.
These idiots going to Dunkin' Donuts.
What an idiot.
What a GameStop.
Just have a fridge in your car.
Yeah, duh.
Duh. Come on, dude.
This GameStop was actually pretty big. The ones near me aren't nearly this massive, but otherwise, it sure was a GameStop. This time I picked up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I figured that Nintendo needed some sales on this. It's a struggling series, so you're welcome, Miyamoto. After that was a pretty quick drive to Maryland. This one was really cool because it has the Power to the Player slogan right on the front, which I've never seen at a storefront before. This was another pretty big store. This time I bought Cuphead and also signed up for the Power Up Reward members because I'm actually gonna save some money signing up for this.
Good stuff.
Power Up Pro member
Dude,
now.
they just gave you power.
They gave me some power.
You got some power.
After that, we headed to another quick state, this one being Delaware. And, yeah, this GameStop isn't nearly as great as the other ones we've been to. The store was pretty small, and I don't know, it just kind of had a bad vibe. This time, I bought the Booster Course Pass DLC because, once again, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe needs an extra copy sold for the starving franchise. You're welcome, Miyamoto! But sadly, I didn't get to keep this cool card, so we were moderately upset. After that, we headed off to Pennsylvania. And on the way, Carl revealed how much he wants to be a part of the Amish. So, one day, I hope he gets to fulfill that dream. We got to the Pennsylvania GameStop. This one had a lot of merch compared to the other ones, and it was kind of sick. They had actual GameStop hoodies.
You know what? It's called a gift card.
Just a regular old gift card.
Yeah.
Well, they can't not give that to you.
This is mine.
My credit card also decided to not work, so I had to switch to another one. I'm not surprised this happened though. I've bought stuff in 4 different states in like 4 hours. But we weren't done yet, believe it or not. We still needed to hit up New Jersey for our last store of the day. This one was inside a massive mall, and the guy that worked there recognized me and was really cool. I decided to buy Pokemon Legends Arceus at this one, and that's about it for the first road trip day. We decided to stay in New York City for the night, and my goodness, what a crazy first day. After walking through Times Square, we made our way to the next GameStop in New York City. This one was kind of cool because the ThinkGeek section was underneath the GameStop, but otherwise it looked the same. Frankly, they all looked the same, and I'm already getting tired of it. Oh, and I ended up buying Cooking Mama because why not? After that, we headed to Connecticut, and honestly, not much happened because it was so close. Want to guess what I bought though? It was Among Us this time, and mostly because the cover looks really cool. Next, we went to Rhode Island. This GameStop was sketchy as hell because there were like 2 cars in the entire plaza.
There it is on the left. Oh, there it is. This one kind of reminds me of the Delaware one. I'm not
God,
gonna
dude,
lie.
it's just in the middle of nowhere. Like, look at, there's no, like, nobody is here. The parking lot is empty.
There's 2 cars.
I wanted to get out as soon as possible, so I picked up some Tyco and we made a move on. We had one more state to tackle today, which was Massachusetts. I really don't have anything to say about this store, except that it was kind of hot in there, so maybe, I don't know, turn on your AC? Anyway, I bought Crash 4 on the Switch, and then we headed to a hotel. This wasn't nearly as intense of a day, but honestly, we're gonna need these longer moments of rest. We may be 11 GameStops in, but there's a lot more to go in much, much bigger states to come. After about 2 hours, we made it to the New Hampshire GameStop. You may have noticed that this place looks the same as all the others, and I'm not even talking about the GameStop itself. It's surrounded by the same kind of strip malls. Like, I swear to God, there's always a freaking Lowe's or Home Depot near them too. Why are all these stores always so close together and laid out virtually the same? It's starting to drive me crazy. I just want some variety here. And also, does every GameStop wall have to be gray and black? How about some white? Or a light blue for a change? I did at least change my purchase a little bit. I got a GameStop shirt because I'm such a big fan, and I also grabbed Monster Hunter Stories too. Next, we went to Maine, and honestly, I really like this state. It's got a taste of Alaska's beautiful mountains without being complete overkill, and the GameStop location actually had different shit around it. Firehouse Subs, Dunkin' Donuts, now that's what I'm talking about. And the store inside was even better. It smelled nice, and the floor was made of actual wood. This whole time, I just wanted some variety, and my question was answered. This time, I bought Luigi's Mansion 3, and then was off to Vermont. The route was a little wonky because we were forced to overlap over other states, so it took about 3.5 hours to get to Vermont. And this GameStop was, completely white? Why isn't stop colored in red? Like, I genuinely have no idea why this store and the app do this. Is this like new branding? And also, this store was extremely long. Like, seriously, you could run a marathon from one side to the other. After buying Game Builder Garage and the sun completely ruined our selfie, we were done for the day and not really looking forward to tomorrow. After the highs of hitting 3 to 4 GameStops a day, today we're driving from Vermont to Ohio. And as you can imagine, it took over 9 hours because New York is huge and there was absolutely nothing on the road. But hey, we're entering Ohio today. Yes, the hilarious meme state. And believe it or not, things actually got kind of wacky. Immediately getting into the state, some super loud bikers passed us. I went down the world's sketchiest hill. We missed getting into GameStop because the guy was going on break, and random fire trucks showed up at Target.
Why is there holes in the stop sign?
What is going on in this state?
All of this in a span of like 20 minutes. Ohio is insane. So we had to wait until the GameStop was open again. We got inside, and guess what? It's a GameStop. And the guy that worked there also recognized me, and he was really cool. We actually found a copy of Metroid Prime Remastered, which happened to be the last one in stock. For what I thought would be a boring day, ended up being quite eventful at the end. Carl even prepared some food for us in a very special place. Another day, another GameStop. This time we started in Michigan, and there's really nothing to say except that it felt full and the walls are blue. Wow. Most of their walls are gray, so it's nice to at least see a different color. But yeah, I got Kirby in the Forgotten Land and headed down to Kentucky next, which took 5 hours. This one is the same goddamn thing. I bought Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, so I guess I'll have to get the first game as well. The Indiana GameStop was next, considering we were like an hour away. And this one was cool because we met up with Camtoonist, who's been working on animations for the channel for the past year or so. So the end of the day was really fun, but otherwise it was just more driving and more GameStops. It's kind of crazy that we've already gone to 18 GameStops, but it's also crazy that we aren't even halfway there. Today, I was on a mission. When we got to Illinois, I decided that I was going to try to find every mainline Pokemon game on the Switch. Although getting there was a bit of a pain. Like, seriously, the way the strip mall was routed out was just nonsense. But once we got in there, I found some Pokemon games and I got Pokemon Violet. After that was a solid 2 hours to Wisconsin. We found a gas station on the way there that just said video gaming underneath it. Thanks for supporting the cause, Wisconsin. This GameStop was kind of interesting because it looks like Wingstop in Little Mexico is just like squishing the store in a strip mall sandwich. I didn't even notice the door until I got up close. And at this place, I found Pokemon Sword. I think having a goal to find certain games makes this a bit more fun because I'm so tired of the GameStop aesthetic. After that, we drove about 5 hours to Minnesota and stayed for the night. We're in Minnesota still, so of course we made our way to the Mall of America. I haven't been here in about 15 years, and it was amazing to see how much it's changed, yet stayed the same. The theme park in the middle of the mall is pretty much how it was before, but the store variety was so much better. There used to be 4 GameStops in this mall, but now there's only 1. This one was kinda cool. The register was in the middle of the store, and it felt more open-ended instead of just being a long strip. I found Pokemon Legends Arceus at this one, and Carl picked up the cute little Mighty plushie. Then we went to the Lego store. I took a picture with Lego Mario. Everyone thinks I look like a dad. Next, we went to Iowa, and we were kind of panicking with this one because it looks completely abandoned.
There's a big picture of Mario on this
And
GameStop.
Laura Croft, dude, this one,
It looks like no one's here.
this looks abandoned.
Is it abandoned?
Oh my god, is this open? Bro, did you take us to a defunct GameStop?
I might have.
Oh my god, I don't see anything in there. Oh my god, look, the sign is broken.
But I pulled the door open and holy shit, there's a store in here. Oh, and by the way, I know you want an update on our Epic Fridge situation. Yeah, well, basically the inverter just stopped working, so we had to buy another cooler, which kind of sucks a lot. Anyway, next was Missouri, which was our last one of the day. The store itself was nothing new, but it was pretty funny. There was some random kid in there that was kind of just flexing on us.
I've already bought quite a bit, but I can't believe I sold one ring that was a 14 karat gold ring that I got from breaking the floor on accident.
Wow.
For $200.
Jeez. Bro, kid was low-key flexing on this.
They didn't have any of the Pokemon games I needed, so I just grabbed Zelda Link's Awakening. And now that we're 1 week into driving, we're both still feeling pretty energized. Which is surprising considering we've been doing like 8 to 10 hour days, but I guess we're just that cool. Boy oh boy are we in for a long day. We need to somehow go from Missouri and end up all the way in North Dakota in 1 day. And before doing that, a small detour to Kansas was required. And this place was actually not at a strip mall. I know, it's kind of shocking. Instead, it was this nice little walking plaza area. The GameStop was nothing special, and once again, I didn't find any new Pokemon games, so I just grabbed Splatoon 3. After that, we headed out to Nebraska, and I really didn't like this one. For every GameStop, I've been getting forced to listen to the spiel about the protection plan, so I've come to expect it at this point, and I know the employees are forced to bring that up, but holy crap, the guy there was going hard on the upsell. I put my freaking credit card in the machine after declining the protection plan offer, and I was still getting sold on it. So this GameStop was kind of annoying, but at least I got Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and this is the 25th GameStop, so we're finally halfway there. After that, we headed into the very tip of South Dakota. At this point, we've been driving for about 8 hours and we're starting to get a bit tired. So it didn't help that this state was extremely windy and cold. Plus, we had to take a freaking dirt road to get there because one of the main roads were shut down. But eventually, we got to a mall and lo and behold, a GameStop. This one was a lot nicer. I actually really like the purple walls in this place. I bought Pokemon Scarlet here, and guess what? Our day isn't done yet. In fact, we have another 6 hours to go just so we can get to North Dakota's GameStop. And this is when we experience something we've never really experienced driving before. If you've never been on the east side of South Dakota, there is almost nothing on the road. There's almost no drivers, no animals, no lights, no turns, no anything. And it happened to be raining and incredibly windy, so we were wobbling around in misery. All there was to look at was a straight road that was completely and entirely flat. And you might think that we just got kind of bored at this point, but in fact, the complete opposite happened. We're pretty used to seeing things like, civilization when driving, but this completely empty void of a highway just kept going. It looked and went on like this for almost 4 hours. Like, it was genuinely eerie because of how empty it was. We were actually feeling pretty nervous, realizing how different this place looked from home, and just how far away we were too. And you might be wondering, why did it take so long? Well, there just so happens to be almost no GameStops in the Midwest. According to Google, there are a total of 6 in South Dakota and 7 in North Dakota. So we had no choice but to drive deep into these states to reach them. After what felt like hell yesterday, getting to the GameStop in North Dakota was pretty easy. We may have arrived early by accident, but once we got there, I was surprised at just how wide and expansive it was. And would you look at that? I finally found one of the Pokemon Let's Go games, so that's cool. After another 6 hours of driving through the beautiful mountains of North Dakota and Montana, we got to our last one for the day. There's absolutely nothing to say about Montana's store. I got Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle to complete the series, and we drove another 4 hours to Wyoming. Oh, and by the way, there's also only 5 GameStops in Wyoming, so that's why the drive was so long in this state too. Even though the views in the west are breathtaking, I think this drive is really taking a toll on us now. We're about halfway through at least, but oh my god is this tiring. I feel nothing walking into GameStop now. I only get excited seeing the store as a checkpoint and nothing else. When I got breakfast this morning, there was nobody around. If this moment doesn't describe the entirety of Wyoming, then I don't know what else does. But first things first, these nuts? Yeah, we tried Mr. Beast's new chocolate bar, and honestly, it was pretty gross. Like, I couldn't even finish mine. Look, I love what Jimmy's doing, he seems like a great guy, but his chocolate really needs an upgrade. Moving on though, it's GameStop time. This one was interesting for all the wrong reasons. We got in there and everything seemed normal at first, but when I was buying the Zelda Skyward Sword remake, Carl found some DC Hybrid NFT cards for sale. Wait, what? GameStop actually went through with selling NFTs? That's honestly kind of hilarious, but next we had a 5-hour drive to Idaho. Actually getting there was kind of nuts because we had to drive through literal mountains for several hours. The GameStop itself didn't have much going on. I got Puyo Puyo Tetris because I'm obsessed, and that was about it for the day. We made our way to Oregon, and strangely, I still have a lot of energy despite how long this trip has been. Carl's definitely getting a bit more wiped, which, I get it. We've been doing some super long days in the sus bus. Next, we arrive in Oregon. This GameStop is actually kind of huge compared to the other ones. Carl got Metroid Prime because we somehow found a second one out in the wild, and I got Pokemon Shield. At this point, I just need Let's Go Pikachu to have all the mainline Pokemon games, so I'll be on the hunt for this final one. I also found a You Got Luigi shirt, which was funny, so it was a nice GameStop for what it was. Next, we made our way to the very border of Washington while fighting off a nasty snowstorm. I mean, we got like 2 minutes into Washington and boom, there it is. This one was also pretty pleasant. It smelled nice and the employee there was really cool. I was gonna get Mega Man Battle Network Collection, but it was sold out, so I settled with Mario Party Superstars. After that, we found a Tostitos truck and we made our way back to Oregon and got a hotel smack dab in the middle so that our drive to California wouldn't be as daunting. Okay, so 2 horrible things happened. 1, there is a lot of snow outside. And 2, I shaved. Wow, look at that, Redding, California. It was kind of funny being in the snow and then beautiful sunshine 4 hours later. This was another small GameStop. I grabbed Kirby Star Allies because it's not as bad as everyone says it is. After that, we drove another 4 hours to San Bruno because we have a very interesting day tomorrow. But before that, I had some actual drama happen that I just have to rant about. So every night, I need to get on my computer to get the footage off our phones and buy the next hotel. For some reason, I couldn't connect to the internet. So I ran a test and oh my god, my freaking network card doesn't work anymore. And look, the computer's 6 years old, it's aging, I get it, but it wants to break right now? So after already driving for 8 hours this day, we were forced to go to Best Buy so I could get a USB Wi-Fi adapter. After going back to the hotel, it doesn't work either. Oh wait, it just needs drivers. Oh great, the drivers are stored on the CD or a website. Wow, that's just great. Because every computer still has a CD drive and I don't have internet right now. So basically, Carl got on his laptop to get the driver, we put it on an external drive, I plugged that into my laptop, installed the driver, restarted my computer, and finally, I have internet. Holy crap, was that a saga. I'm gonna be real. It's been a struggle to keep up with all this driving, so thank God we visited YouTube headquarters today. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to film anything inside, but I got to meet my partner manager in person, which was awesome. It was basically like a college campus for adults, which is pretty amazing. This was a really fun day, and we only had to drive a few hours to get to Nevada for tomorrow's Gamestop. Actually, getting there was a bit intimidating because the snow on these mountains was piled up like 10 feet tall, but we made it, and that's about that. Take a wild guess what happened today. We went to the next GameStop in Nevada and it was fine. But I did grab Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, so I have all the mainline games on the Switch now, but the day isn't over yet. We had to make a real quick 9-hour drive to Utah, and most of it was one-lane roads in the middle of bumf nowhere. In fact, we were on Route 50 today, which is infamously known as the loneliest road in America. Here's what's crazy though. We got through it so quickly that we somehow made it to the Utah GameStop before it closed. I have no idea how that happened, considering how massive both of these states are, but alas, I picked up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in this one because it's a dying franchise, so you're welcome, Chris Pratt. We're actually about a week away from finishing the whole thing, which is exciting, but we still have 6 massive states to chug through before things pick up again. From one massive state to another. Up next was Arizona. And yes, this state has the Grand Canyon. Did we stop there? No, of course not. We went to a mall to hit up the next GameStop because, let's just be honest, people, I've got more pro reward points than the Grand Canyon does, so that basically makes it a loser. This time, I got WarioWare Get It Together because that's a decent enough video game. And a few hours later, we made our way to New Mexico. And yes, we did drive through Albuquerque, and I'm pretty sure we saw Hank pull someone over. But yeah, this GameStop was also just fine. They're all fine. I'm really starting to get nauseous going into them since this is like, I don't know, number 37. I bought Metroid Dread because I got Metroid Prime like a week ago. After that, we made our way to Santa Fe to stay the night because we had one more long day ahead of us. Okay, so I was pretty tired today because I had spent several hours last night checking this edit for the 3D Mario Marathon video. Thank you guys for watching that one, by the way, because it was hell to record and edit it all together. But anyway, we drove up to good old Colorado, found a green Walmart, which was scary because they're supposed to be blue only, and this GameStop has Power to the Players on it. However, we got in and I tried to get Mario Strikers. It wasn't in stock. Okay, that's fine, I grabbed Mario Golf. Guess what? Wasn't in stock. You know what? Whatever, just how about CTR Team Racing Nitro Fueled? Yeah. So that was a bit odd, but after that, it was another 9 hours of driving to Oklahoma for our next day. This was another super long drive, but thank frickin' God we've just about made it out of the big states in America. This is it. We have finally gotten through all of the biggest hurdles. We went to the Oklahoma GameStop, and at this point, I am paying zero attention to what the stores looked like. I'm really just interested in the game selection. This one had a combo pack for Sonic Mania and Team Sonic Racing, and I don't know, I feel like this might be rare someday, so I picked it up. I also love how our selfie game has somehow gotten worse and worse the farther we've gotten into this trip. But after that, we made our way to the very east of Texas, and you can tell because some driver had carpets in his pickup with no bungee cords. So we got to the Texas GameStop. Carl was asleep, and I mean, I don't blame him. I don't know how the hell I still have energy after almost a month of doing this. And then we got inside, and yep, it was another GameStop. I bought Mario Golf Super Rush, and Carl got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I also found a spider inside the gas machine. I'm not sure how we got in there or how bugs get in there to begin with, but I'm very impressed. Another 3 or so hours later, we got ourselves into Louisiana, and this GameStop had Clubhouse games, and let's just be honest, it's one of the best Switch games, so of course I had to get it. And after that, we were basically done for the day. It feels really nice to be in the smaller states again, and we currently only have 9 GameStops left. Before going to the Arkansas GameStop, we got some pretzels at Walmart, because you're required to eat these damn things on any road trip you go on, no matter how tired you are of eating them. I got Super Mario Maker 2, and I like the selection, but just... This was the first day where I was sick of driving and just wanted to get home, but thankfully, Carl's Blue Eyes White Dragon was giving us the energy we needed to finish the trip. Next, we went to Mississippi, and yes, we did listen to Mississippi Queen on the way there, thanks for asking. This GameStop had Splatoon 2, and since I've already sunk 900 hours into it, it only made sense to get a physical after all this time, you know? And we had one more GameStop to get to, which was in Tennessee. This was the moment when my worst nightmare happened.
Is it even open?
What the? Oh no. Oh no, dude.
We're gonna have to find another one, like, right now.
Within like 10-15 minutes, because it's almost 7 o'clock.
Thankfully, we were in a pretty big town, so there was another one like 15 minutes away, but that was still a bit nerve-wracking. Imagine if that happened in South Dakota. We would have been so screwed. At this GameStop, I picked up Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for John Cartwright, and for John Cartwright alone. And that's about it for today. Only a few more days to go, and I am more than ready for this to be over with. Now we're in Alabama, and yes, we did listen to Sweet Home Alabama on the way there, thanks for asking. This was another pretty average GameStop. I bought Captain Toad Treasure Tracker because it's a pretty decent game. And after that, we drove 8 hours to Florida to prepare for tomorrow. And that's it. This was one of the most boring days of the entire trip.
Okay, so I've been collecting games. What have you been collecting on this trip?
I've been collecting little shampoos and soaps. Wow, from every hotel we've been staying at.
Today was going to be a pretty short day actually, but things didn't start as planned. We got to the GameStop in Florida at 10 a.m. because that's when it said it was open, but apparently the hours were changed to 12 p.m. Frustrated about this, we ate at Whataburger just to try it, and then we found another GameStop in a mall. This one was very small, but well condensed. I found Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, but also Monopoly, so of course I had to get both of them. Monopoly on the Switch is actually really fun too. Carl also grabbed the GameStop t-shirt, so welcome to the club. But after that, we made our way to Georgia, and this one was in another mall. I grabbed new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and I went to the final state of the day, South Carolina.
What? There's like no... Where's the stroke?
There's
There's no stroke.
stroke on the letters.
What?
The logo looks naked. Add the stroke. I walked in and grabbed Nintendo Switch Sports. Why did I buy this game? I don't even like it that much. I just see big cardboard box. I'm like, wow, cool. Well, it's finally come to this. The final day of our trip with only 2 GameStops remaining. It's honestly really surreal that we're actually gonna make it to all 50 states. While I'm incredibly excited to get back home and go back to a normal life, I'm kind of gonna miss all this traveling. It's been such a fun adventure, and I really needed it after the stresses I was going through the past year or two. But anyway, we got into the North Carolina GameStop, and I ended up getting Cuphead physically, and the employee there was really awesome. We were talking about other great indie games, and he brought up The Messenger, and I'm just like, holy crap, someone else has actually played that game. But after that, it was just one more to go. Was this final one gonna be an epic finale of grand proportions? Will we find the rarest and best Switch games of all time? Nope, it was a GameStop. The process this time was a little bit different though, because I decided to finally use the Power Up Rewards points. I picked up Super Mario Party and used 45,000 points to save $45 on this game. That might sound great, but actually doing this is very ass backwards. To actually use your points, you have to pull up the app on your phone, scroll down to In-Store Rewards, and then select a coupon in these specific dollar amounts. And you can only scan one coupon at a time, so we had to scan multiple coupons to reach $45. But alas, we took our final selfie, and oh my god, we're done! We actually did it! All we had to do was drive home. So we got back, brought our stuff inside, and Carl drove the car back to the rental place while I followed from behind.
Man, I am glad to be back home and... What the...
Nathaniel? Where's Nathaniel?
He's at
Where have you guys been? It's been 3 weeks!
We were on a road trip.
Why did you bring me?
We didn't think you wanted to come.
Well, I'm back from the trip. I've got some fun stats to share. I lost my video camera. Now I'm using a new one. Now you might be wondering, how did I lose my video camera? Well, camera went in the car. I come back, and it's not in the car. So I don't know what happened to it, but anyway, this is my new video camera. You might be wondering, how many miles did we actually drive to achieve all of this? Well, it was 11,283 miles. I know, pretty insane. But the real question is, did I actually save any money using the Power Up Reward membership? So basically, I spent $2,526.13 at GameStop, but only $2,366.26 was put on the Power Up Rewards membership. However, everything that Carl purchased was also put on this same membership, so the actual amount that was put into the membership was $2,669.55. This gave us 59,324 life points, or the equivalent of $59. We earned $59 from that. And technically, that's not even true, because we technically got 10,000 life points after spending $15 on the membership itself. So actually, we earned 54,324 points, or $54. I should also mention that you do get a $5 coupon every month that you can use on top of your points. You also get first dibs on like new consoles and stuff, and a free Game Informer subscription. Cool. Realistically speaking, it's probably only worth getting this membership if you actually buy games all the time, like you actually want brand new games, then maybe it'd be worth the value a little bit. But I still feel like there's other places like local shops or even like Walmart where you'd probably end up saving more money. As you can imagine, this video was ridiculously expensive to make, so a big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring it. Wow, thanks guys. And it was made possible thanks to today's sponsor, Squarespace. Aw shucks, you guys know what Squarespace is at this point. They're the best and most powerful place to create the slickest websites. You can connect your audience and generate revenue through members-only content, manage members, send emails, and leverage audience insight, all on one easy-to-use platform. You can make a community on your website with a fully integrated commenting system that supports threaded comments, replies, and likes. Use their blocking tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts too. And that's not even including Squarespace Extensions, a new third-party tool that lets you manage inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Nathaniel to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Links in the description. The last couple things I want to mention is that all the digital games that I purchased, I'll be giving away on Twitter. So if you want a chance at winning these games, it's going to be first come, first serve. Times are at the bottom right now. So any of those games that you might potentially want, now's your chance to do it.
Oh, yeah. I stole that house. I stole that house.